Pleasant Valley Forum.
Oh, okay. You find yourself on there, Laura?
I'm just looking.
You're on there. We think we got them named.
Up in here somewhere.
We
There
think
you
we
are,
got
right
them all
there.
pegged right.
Yeah.
So tell me, who did the band? Who organized this? I don't know anything about it.
Nevin Krause.
Nevin Krause.
Nevin
What was the
Krause.
boy's name? He was from Westminster.
Go back.
No.
At least Nevin Krause bought my instrument, and then I paid him back a couple of dollars at a
His
time.
parents used to live right in, as you come from the valley,
Yeah.
about 2-3 houses there, and I think he kept the house last time we seen him.
What?
And
Well, how did they get all you guys to do this? What made you get in the band? I don't understand how they got all these.
Well, we had a good leader, a
Oh,
band leader.
Well, let's go back, Alfred. Let's go back further.
are you recording? Okay.
Nev Krause at the bank. Nev Krause was sort of the instigator. He and a couple other people in town
Okay.
decided that it would be nice to have a band. And they made a contact with old Mr. Snyder over at Union Bridge. And he is the one that was the first director. They had a Boy Scout band at Union Bridge, and he was the director of the band at Union Bridge. So he brought about 3 of his best players to the practice
Okay.
and sort of led the various sections. And so they bought, in the plan, they bought all the instruments. And so that each and every boy who wanted to play got an instrument. They selected what they wanted. And then they could buy the instrument, or they play it, and when they were through with it, they had to turn it back to the, and your uncle Harvey was one of the, sort of the, should you say, the innkeepers of the
Okay.
band, because we used his bus to take us various places and so forth.
It's such a big group. I
And-
just such a
Well,
large group.
Harvey had the bus,
Yeah, he had the bus.
and like we'd go to Winchester, Virginia, and he'd take us down there in the bus. One story I want to tell about that, Kermit Weissor,
Yeah.
he stopped halfway down to Winchester, and we went in to get something to drink. And there was a pinball machine in there. And Kermit played this, and about the 10th time he played it, he won the jackpot. And we had to carry him out, he wouldn't leave. He wanted to keep playing the thing. And I used to go with Harvey's son. What was his name?
Cleety, Mick,
Johnny.
Johnny.
John, I guess.
John's
it
the
was.
one that was killed in the war.
They run the bus.
Yeah.
We took the Western Maryland College football team down to the stadium when they
Oh.
play football.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we used to take the Western Maryland boxing.
But
team to
anyhow,
New York.
but anyhow, they invited all the boys who were interested in the area to participate in the band. And just about everybody signed up, you know. And of course, we had a real good run because we played at the at picnics, we played at festivals, we were marching band, we played at in parades, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and as Loring mentioned, we made a couple trips, 2 or 3 trips to Winchester to the Apple Blossoms Festival Parade.
Sit down, Lori.
I was trying to think, I'm very forgetful, and I wanted to tell a story. I have a couple stories, just like Kermit
Right.
playing the pinball machine. And I forgot it, but I'll think about it
Yeah.
after a while.
You said Kermit Leister.
But now,
Pardon?
You
Snyder,
say Kermit Leister?
Snyder was,
No,
No,
Kermit Weissor.
Kermit Weissor, yeah, Weissor. I thought.
Snyder led the band for the first couple of years. And then there was an ex-Marine, Charlie, I can't think of his last name now. He lived out on the New Windsor Road. Charlie Phelps or something like that. But anyhow, he was an ex-Marine musician. He led the band for a year or so. Then Nevin Strine, who was a sign painter in Westminster,
Yeah, I knew Nevin.
then he led the band for a couple of years. But then after that, I left about that time, and I don't know who came in after that.
So about what time period would this band have been?
I was telling, I wanted to tell this here because I forgot it a while ago.
Yeah.
But he was saying two fellows from Union Bridge. Well, I want to tell a story about them. One of them was, oh hell, I can't think of it. Played the piano, and they would come down, my sister, and they'd visit. And we had a piano because she was taking piano lessons. And this was interesting. One would sit on one side of the piano, one would sit on the other. One would play the low keys, and one would play the high keys. And it was really nice.
This was taken over, this was taken. This was taken at, where you go into, what's the name?
This was taken at Smallwood.
The regional
Picnic.
picnic.
Woods.
And they had the Dutch picnic, and we
Oh,
played
okay.
It was taken right up
That's
as
what
you
it
go
was.
in there.
Right, where they still have Dutch picnic you're talking about.
Yeah, down at Smallwood.
Okay. No, I didn't have a clue. When my mom died, I found that picture. It was all rolled up, and but it was never been in the daylight. It was in great shape, so we went ahead and got it framed because I knew my dad was on that picture in the front row. Well, a number of them I could recognize, and then someone came in the store a couple weeks ago, and they could name everybody on the picture because we didn't know all the people on there. That's why we got those little tags on it for right now. An older fella came in, I don't even remember who it was, but he knew everybody on there. Because we didn't know who a lot of them were.
This fellow right here had a lot to do with getting a lot of this started. Sparky Myers.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about him a while ago.
But, you know, it's just hard for me to believe that all these boys would be in this band.
Well, there wasn't anything else to do, and that was the idea that it would give the boys something to do, to interest them.
I guess, but I just assumed that you all were plow boys and had to work on the. I thought you had to work on the farm or something, and then you just didn't seem like people that they're just a little brochure.
Well, we continued to work on the farm, Ed.
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but we would have, if there was
One thing interesting about this is the gas tank out front.
Yeah.
How am I going to explain this? You couldn't go and put gas in your car and it would ring up. You would have to fill the tank above, not fill it, but if you wanted 6 gallon, you put 6 gallon of gas
In the
above,
glass. In the glass.
and then Paul would shake his head, and then you'd put it in your tank.
Yeah, you drain it back.
And then
down.
you'd pay him. That's how they sold the gas at that time.
We still have the.
I think that in one of the pictures indicated that, I believe.
Yeah, it did.
One of the pictures on the film showed the front of the store and the gas tank.
Yeah.
I thought I saw that.
And the kerosene pump, he sold kerosene.
Yeah,
The
well,
kerosene pump is still in the store to this day. Because people, and we have the old cans, we have the old 1 gallon cans that they'd fill for their lamps, and then later we had the big old 5 gallon cans. They were real tall when they started with space heaters in the later years.
I'm trying to think of the drink.
Brahma seltzer, they called them Busters.
No,
But
bromo
the old
seltzer.
fellows would come in and they'd say, "Give me a bromo," and Paul would.
He sold more bromos than anybody in the state of
More
Maryland.
bromos than anywhere on the man's,
We had a fellow come visit right after we opened that worked for I don't know if it was Maryland Candy or who sold Bromo back then. Somebody was distributing. He said that he sold my Uncle Paul more cases of Bromo seltzer a month than anybody else in the whole state.
Well, Ed Yingling worked for the distributor in Hanover for a number of years, and Ed told me several times that Bomo, the Leister Store, was bought more bromos than any in his route.
We have some of the old blue Bromo seltzer bottles. We have them on display.
yeah, yeah.
Well, now, Ed, here's one thing I sort of want to get on to. Have you done any checking? Has there been any checking as to the development of the church?
Yeah, we have,
Yeah.
we have, the church has a lot of that history.
A lot of the records of the
Yes,
churches?
yes, and also like when it was built and who built it and where the
Uh-huh.
stone came from.
Oh,
And
you
so-
have that.
So we have a lot of that information.
Well, now, does it include people from St. Mary's Union Church?
I don't know.
You know, there
So
used to be a Union Church.
Right,
There was
right,
a
right.
Union Church
Yeah, it was a Union
in
church.
Silver Run,
Right.
and both Lutheran and Reformed.
And then
And
they
then
split
later,
up.
Lutherans built a church,
Mhm.
and the Reforms retained the old church.
Mm-hmm.
And about, I think it was around the late 1800s, that the Pleasant Valley Church was developed.
Yeah, I think
right?
it was 1879 maybe.
1870, something like.
Mhm.
Now, our people belonged to Silver Run Church, and my great-grandfather was one of the leaders in the development of the
Pleasant Valley.
Pleasant Valley Church.
Oh, okay.
Is that in the record?
I'm gonna look again, but it probably is because they had, I think the Starners too had worked on that, yeah. But if it's not, I will make sure
It
that
would
that's
be
added.
the Yinglings and the Myerses.
Right.
Now, I don't know which belonged to which denomination, but
Right.
this Frederick L. Yingling that I spoke of,
Mm-hmm.
that owned a mill and also owned a farm across the
Right.
creek,
Mm-hmm.
was one of the guys that
Started the
led
church.
that movement.
Well, that's good to know, and I'm gonna check on that and just see what
Yeah.
all they have. Yeah,
Now, there may have been people from Boss Church
that
and other churches around that
helped. That would be
that,
good to know.
came into the valley.
We're learning more. I think at this point we're only open on Sunday afternoons. You have to excuse me now. I gotta take it.
Yeah, we're only open on Sunday afternoons from 12 to 3.
Mhm.
And we've been having, every Sunday, we have people stopping by. And lots of times they bring us stuff, they bring us artifacts, and then they tell us stories about Pleasant Valley. So it's been really, really good. Really good. So,
Dennis,
Yeah.
let me break in. You know, Mrs. Bowers,
Angie Bowers, yeah, Bowers.
her brother keeps a cemetery up there.
Mike Gist.
No, Mike is not your brother. Yeah, Mike's your brother.
Yeah, Mike Gist is my brother.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right, yeah.
Right, and he takes care of the
He
cemetery.
lives up there right next to the cemetery.
Like, my mother lives next to the cemetery and he lives next to her.
Yes, they built a house.
That's
They
right.
lived down on the farm.
Yes, they had lived on the farm. And I live, there's a little road alongside the cemetery.
Yes.
And I live all the way back. I built the first house, but all my brothers and sisters live on the farm.
Did you live in the house where
They built
this
the house.
man was intoxicated all the time and then
No.
moved out?
I don't know,
No.
because
It's where you come up and your farm's here, you turn right and go back.
oh yes, wasn't that Heil, Ed Heil, or,
Loring, I
Frankie.
can straighten you out on that. That, you're talking about long before Angela built this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
well,
built the
they
house
live
right,
in the farm.
wait a minute. They built the house right at the turn where you'd go on back to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yes,
built a
yes.
house over
Right,
on the
right,
right.
right.
Well, then there was a space between, then there was a house back there that a man that
Yes.
was intoxicated
Yes,
all the
and
time.
I think the original people were Heil, H-Y-L-E, Heil, somebody
Doesn't
Heil,
sound like it.
and then John Frank. Remember John Frank?
That's probably it.
Right, right. And he had an injury on his mouth. His mouth was kind of like this. And he painted. He did pictures. He painted on screen doors. And we have one of his paintings in the store, in the museum. So, yep. And he was always wore a coat. He was always. I think he might have been in the military.
Because we insured the fellow that lived on the farm, that was very well known. When you go past the furniture towards Frizzlesburg,
Okay.
down the hill, the stream, the farm was up there.
Okay.
You don't
See,
mean Elmer, do you?
No. Now, some Arnold had a farm. Arnold,
I believe it was.
right? And now Balkers owns that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're farming that.
Barker's bought many acres back there.
Right. They'd like to have our farm, but we won't sell it to them. Because their orchards go right along our farm.
See, Eddie Barker was a friend of Dave's.
Yep.
Because we had a tractor, an 816, which used part gas and part water,
Oh, wow.
and had in the back, it had a big sprocket with chain driven on both wheels. And Eddie, Dave wanted to get rid of it, and Eddie Barker bought it and fixed it up.
Now, what brand was that? Was it McCormick?
International.
McCormick Deering,
McCormick Dairy. Okay.
International Harvester.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. What do we call them? 816s.
Okay. Okay. So, now, Dave Yingling, was he older?
He's the oldest one.
He was the oldest one. If he were still living, he would, okay. Yeah.
And
Now, is there anybody living in his farmhouse?
Yes.
No.
Dave, nobody's living there, it's
I
just
don't
sitting
think
there?
so.
living there.
Partially.
Davy owns the farm.
Right, okay.
But no.
Nobody's living at the
no.
house, yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, he
boy.
probably has some things. there.
Yeah, right, right,
But
right,
no
Davy's
one's
boy.
living there.
yeah. Well, we'd love to get some, if you all have pictures of anything from, back when you were growing up, or just even pictures of yourselves when you were kids. We'd like to get them together. And he makes copies of them for us.
Well,
And then
since,
we don't have to keep them.
since we're here and we're Yinglings, now, how interested are you in some of the little industries and so forth that took place in Pleasant Valley years ago?
We're very interested in knowing about
Okay.
them, yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a rundown.
Okay,
on it.
give us a rundown,
Our great-grandfather was, of course, Frederick L.
right.
And one of the old monuments up at the cemetery,
Okay,
as you face the road on the right, they own that big, he owned that big block of, and there's an
Plots.
old-fashioned monument there with
Okay.
his name on. and so
I'll have to
forth.
look that one up.
They owned the mill, and they also owned a farm across the creek.
Right, the one we saw in the video?
Yeah. He also, later on, he owned a store and that whole block down to beyond the tail race.
Oh, okay,
Yes, and you mentioned in the article about the pool, skating, and so forth. And one of his businesses was a custom ice cream for parties and so forth.
oh, okay,
He would around March or middle of the winter, but up at that time they would skate on the pond.
right, okay,
But then he would cut the ice
Ice.
and put it in the ice house.
okay. Now, where was the
And-
ice house?
The ice house was almost directly back of the store,
Okay, somebody else told
on
me
the
that.
other side of the,
Race, right.
on the other side of the race.
Okay.
And the barn, of course, was right alongside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would cover the ice with sawdust so that he would have ice in the summer
Summertime, wow.
for his ice cream.
So how long
business.
could he make ice cream in the summer?
How long?
Mhm.
I
I mean,
have
did
no
it-
idea how long,
I mean,
but
could he
it,
make it till July or?
well, I don't know
Know how-
exactly how long, but
Yes.
anyhow, he would make ice cream in the summer. And then he had all of these molds of fruit
Oh,
and animals
uh-huh.
that he would
Put the ice
form
cream.
the ice
Wow.
cream items, and of course, for selling to the parties.
Yeah.
It was all by order.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't sold like at the store, right?
And he also had a little tomato factory.
Yeah.
Where was that?
The tomato factory was right back of the house on the corner.
Oh,
See, the
okay.
big house is on the corners where he lived.
Right, okay.
Then there was another building back of it.
Oh,
In
okay.
that building, that's where he made his ice cream. That's where he canned tomatoes.
Okay.
And he would plant roughly around 40 acres of tomatoes on our farm.
Okay.
He gave employment to about 8 or 10 or more women
Mm-hmm.
in the valley.
Okay.
This was before the clothing store in Westminster opened.
Okay.
And he would give them employment in planting the tomatoes, cultivating the tomatoes on the farm,
Uh-huh.
and also peeling and packing the tomatoes at the factory.
Do you know,
Now,
do you,
in
you know any of
addition-
the names of people that did that? Any of the women?
Huh?
Do you know any of the women's names that would have done that?
Yeah, that was
Powell was
Mrs.
one of
Ed Welk
Mrs. Ed
was
Welk, okay.
one. Mrs. Ed Welk,
And Mrs. Powell, he just said.
And
Powell, P-O-W-E-L-L.
Mrs. Powell, that's what was
That
her?
was like
Martha Powell's mother.
Right,
Yeah,
yes,
there's
yes.
others, but I can't
And,
recall.
well, anyhow, it was about eight
Yeah,
or
right.
10
I was
or more
just curious
people.
who might have
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
He had a,
Then, of course, across, near the sawmill,
Mm-hmm.
there was a cider press,
Okay.
and also a little house that he made apple butter.
Oh, okay. But it was all in that little area?
Hmm.
Was it all together in the same area?
where he made
Yeah,
apple
it's
butter
where
and
that white
cider.
house, there's a little white house there now.
Yes, yes, okay.
Yeah,
They
but
closed it.
anyhow, the two buildings, the customers would bring their apples,
Right, and then he
they
make
would
apple
bring
butter.
their, what they called snits.
Mhm.
The
dried
apples that
apples.
were prepared for the apple butter.
Right, okay.
And he had, I think it was either 2 or 3 vats where he would cook the apple butter.
Mm-hmm.
So he would press their cider, and then they'd make their apple butter.
Mm.
And during the season, they would have, there could have been a number of customers, farmers and so forth, with their apples and so forth, lined up on the street waiting for service,
Wow.
because it would take maybe about 2 or 3 or so hours to process the apple butter, so
Wow.
forth.
Wow.
So they were his
Little industries.
little industries, yeah.
Well, now how about the building on Halter Road? As you go down Halter Road, on the right-hand side, there's a building on Dave Yingling's farm.
Well, now
What was that?
that was built by Ed Yingling, who owned the farm.
Okay, okay.
See, now, Ed Yingling also operated a factory. And then during the Depression, it was in 29, I guess, something like that, why he went broke.
Now, what kind of factory
And-
did he
and
have?
then Ned Krause and Elmer Myers and Dan Leister, I think they were the 3 principals, opened what was called Pleasant Valley Packing Company.
Oh, okay, okay.
So they operated it. And they of course, canned tomatoes, corn, beans, and so forth.
It has some of their labels.
And then, at the end of the Depression, they of course went up.
Yeah.
And then, for a short period of time, Neil Staley from the college and his brother-in-law ran the factory there for a couple years.
Oh, okay.
And then that was the last of the canning factory.
Right.
Now, getting back to your question, when the Pleasant Valley Packing Company took over, Uncle Ed built that house, that building up on a hill
Okay.
with the idea that he was going to can.
Ah.
I think it lasted maybe a year or so, and then that was the end of it.
So did he can like tomatoes or
He was going to can tomatoes
or
and so
whatever?
forth, but
Okay, but that didn't
that was
happen.
the end of it,
Right,
and
okay.
so from then on, it was just used for storage.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering,
Now,
yes.
another string of the Yinglings, Ed Yinglings, his son ran the place for tires right next to where the fire company was on the right.
Oh, okay.
And then they closed that, and Ed's son ran the trucking business, Yingling General Tire.
But was that was in Westminster then, right? No?
That was in Westminster.
Right, right.
That was in Westminster.
Yeah.
But they
but-
never had tires in Pleasant Valley, did they?
No.
No.
No, oh,
no,
okay,
No,
okay.
that was in Westminster.
But they were the Yinglings that, yeah, and they went to Westminster.
But that was,
But they're from
Ed
Pleasant Valley.
Yingling's farm was on the outskirts of Pleasant Valley.
Hello,
Hi there.
Why, hello.
is he almost finished?
Oh, he's telling us a lot. We can't
Oh,
get stopped.
I can imagine.
Have a seat.
I gotta take you up to the, for appointment, 3 o'clock,
When?
3 o'clock. So be sure he gets out here
Oh, okay,
quarter
well,
of,
well, we better start talking to him.
quarter of 3.
Okay,
3 o'clock for what?
appointment.
Appointment. Check your ears.
See if you washed them.
Yes, so be sure you get up there quarter of. Okay,
Yeah, we'll work on that.
thank you.
I wanted to ask, did you guys have anything to do with cider mills or anything like
We were
that?
just
We
talking
just- we
about.
just
we
talked
were
Oh,
just
I
about
missed it.
Yeah, you just missed about all
I
the little
just
things they
explained
had
that
where
too.
that White
There
House.
was a house, if you're familiar with Pleasant Valley,
I'm
the
familiar.
mill was here,
Yeah,
and there was an old house here where they made the cider and the apple butter. But they tore that down and then built a new house,
That little White
which two fellows lived in. One of them drank so much, and they'd get in a fight occasionally. When one would be in the house and the other one would try to get in, and they'd get in a fight.
you didn't let it get hard, did you?
Actually, when that house was built,
Did it
the,
get hard?
you remember
There's more
Vernon
hard-
Myers,
Hard cider out there, you could think.
Vernon Myers was the,
Some of
his
them
father was
Had
Harry Myers,
lives up.
Upster,
Okay,
that lived, let's see, with 2 houses back from the bank, from the church.
Yeah.
okay.
Harry Myers, and Vernon was Kenneth, his sons were Kenneth,
You knew where Vernon-
Fern, Kenneth, Fern, and I think there was another one or so. But anyhow, the little house that Loring is talking about, when they tore down the old cider mill and everything, they built that little white house, and he was the first one to live there.
Before they tore that down, a bunch of us boys used to go down to Paul Myers's. He had a barrel of hard cider. And we would go down there, each have a drink, and then we'd go up to the store. And Paul would be up there. You knew Paul, didn't you? Of course, Paul got a big kick out of it. We'd get in there and get hot, start getting warm. And he'd get a big kick out of that, us getting
A little nip, huh?
intoxicated.
A little nip.
I can remember it from yesterday.
I guess Dan Leister was your uncle, right?
My grandfather.
That ran the mill.
Yeah, that was my
Did
grandfather.
you ever take notice of his finger?
Not really.
When he would write, apparently it was broken or something and never straightened. Because anytime that he would use his hand, his finger would stick out like that.
Could
If he'd
be.
write, it would stick out.
Oh,
If he'd pick up something, it would stick out.
When he,
no,
When he
I didn't
kept
know
me-
him.
when he kept me in the summertime, he always chewed old red man tobacco. He had a big plug in his pocket.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to chew. So one day he gave me a big hunk. He didn't tell me about not swallowing it. Let me tell you, in about a half an hour, I was a pretty sick boy. I never chewed any more tobacco. I swallowed the juice.
I experienced the same thing, Ed, at one time.
I
was
always
out
wanted
back of
something.
the house on my belly, holding on, the world was turning.
I always wanted to chew, so he gave me a big hunk of it.
Well, Angela, was there anything else in particular that you wanted
Well, see, I'm not
to
sure what he told you.
explore?
Did you end up telling us about the 10-cent haircut?
No.
Yeah. Tell us again about going up above the store and getting a haircut, because
For
we didn't
10
get that on
cents?
tape.
Well, Paul was down in the store, and Guy then, and I didn't know he was, but anyhow, first thing you know, found out that he opened a barber shop up on the second floor.
Right.
And I went there to get my hair cut, and I got it cut, and he charged me 10 cents.
Yeah, we wanna try
And
to,
then after, he was only there about a year, and then he went across the street
By the
in
fire.
one of the front offices of where the fire company
Yeah.
was down first floor. And the fire company always had, and these boys were from Frederick, were musicians, and they had a party every Friday night.
oh, really?
Yeah.
We hadn't heard that.
The rent Uncle Guy paid when he first went over there for the barber shop, his rent was $2 a month.
Well,
They charged him $2. And they didn't furnish anything. He had to furnish his own electric. He didn't even have water in there at that point. He had to go over into the fire hall to get water. In later years, they did give him a sink, but in the beginning, it was just a room. That's all it was, just a room.
so this is a story. So one night, we were out, a group of us boys, and we were drinking a little bit, and we came back, and of course, Harvey's boy, was it John?
Could be, I don't know.
Was it
It was
older?
John, Cleety, and Mick.
That doesn't sound right. He used
John
to drive.
was the oldest one.
Pardon?
Johnny was the oldest.
Yeah, it was John, and then Cletus, and then Clarence. Like we call him Mick.
Was it almost
Nick-
John?
Nick, yeah.
John.
And he knew, well, was friendly with his father. So he said, well, let's go down to the barber shop. That was 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So we all went down there and stayed down there an hour. That was one of the funny things.
Well, now, did you all go to school in Pleasant Valley?
I went there for up until my freshman year.
Okay,
And then I went over to Charles Carroll.
right. So what year did you graduate?
35.
So that's a picture that we have is
34.
Right, okay.
Yeah, my mother would have been a year before.
Yeah, right, okay.
If you have a picture of the graduating class, I
Well,
know.
1934, though, the one
Oh,
we have.
then
We
I'm
have the year
wrong.
before. My mother graduated in 34. I had her picture.
So did you all, are any of you like in this school picture? I
I
don't know
was
what
the
year that
last
is.
one to graduate from
That's a
Pleasant
Pleasant
Valley.
Valley school.
The first one to
I have a big
graduate
picture
from
of it.
Charles Carroll when I got over there.
You picked us out on this, haven't you?
Huh?
You picked
And
us
that
out.
was 1933.
Oh, I need to write this down. He found Alfred.
Do you need a pencil or a
I got
paper?
a paper, I need paper.
I got paper
Why not?
if you need it.
I think I have a tablet or
Here,
something.
I brought it.
Do you have that picture of us, remember, like you can see, I think you and I, or no, it's Dennis and I, with, it's real cold, must be real cold, and we're all dressed up in cold clothes.
see if I can find a high school picture.
This is what I did as a boy. That was my swimming hole. We dammed up the stream over in the meadow. And swim in the stream, the old cows
See,
would plop in the
this is the high, is Charles
probably
Carroll.
where we
That was
swam,
1934. That was
Yeah,
probably.
that
that's
was,
when they all went over the first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, his
I
mom's
can't
in
run
that, and my
figures
aunt's
north
in
or
that.
south.
Did you go to any of the Charles Carroll?
No, I missed it, but, yeah, I went to Charles
Did
Carroll, I
you?
missed high school, or the school in Pleasant Valley by 1 year.
Did you know, oh, what's her name now, just died
Oh, wow.
about a month ago. Was in the same class as
Oh
Dennis.
gosh, I don't know, she just said, say it, I mean,
Oh, you're talking about Elizabeth Howell?
Elizabeth, yeah, Howell.
no, I
Howell.
never knew her.
Elizabeth Banker.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But now, did she teach up there, or she just went to
No,
school
no.
there?
We have the store
I think
fixed
she just
up
went
like
to
it would have
school
been in the
when
I don't think
1900s.
she taught.
She
now,
worked
I'm
at
not sure.
for the county and the.
This is how we have it fixed up now as a
Oh,
museum.
okay.
Over at middle
Okay,
school.
okay. So now, which one did you say is Alfred?
Okay, well
Let
now,
me look at this.
I can name just about all of them here, so.
Oh my gosh, I gotta find the
You wanna
chair.
sit down?
Yeah, I do wanna sit down. I'll get over here next to you. Push this over. Be like my Aunt Norma Angel. She did that, gave me all these names, and I was writing so fast. She could now, but she did about a year ago. Okay, now wait a minute. Let me get this.
Okay, that was a teacher, Bessie Yingling.
But we have all the old things that you used to have in the store.
now, what's,
let me see
this
the
boy's
teacher.
face is familiar right
Picture
here.
There is
That's Donald Leister.
Fred Myers.
Donald
Oh,
Fred
Leister.
Myers, who drove the
Okay,
school
yeah,
bus.
well, you know what?
He was
Since
raised
this
by
is
the
a copy, I'm
Lawrences.
gonna write right on here.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, but let me, this right here's Fred?
Fred, that's Fred Myers.
Okay. And this
That's
is Bessie Yingling.
the teacher.
Very good.
Teacher.
We get a number of people in every week. We really do. People
There's me.
are
That's you.
interested
Okay, that's
in
you.
what a country store used to be like, and we get a number of people through every week.
Okay, and where was Alfred?
Let's see, yeah, that's out there.
Okay.
And that movie you saw was all still pictures put
Yeah.
together, except for the old 8mm film. And he was able to
And
work
then
his
you-
magic with it.
Let's see, that's Ed Yingling.
That's Ed, okay.
See, this is what we really need, Dennis. We don't know who these people are.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like, oh.
This is what we really need, to get these labeled so we know who we're looking at.
Let's see,
That's Ed, and then we got, and this is
We have no
Alfred.
idea who that group was.
That's
We think
you.
it's somebody
That's
came to the
Norman
lodge
Brown.
hall maybe that he's
Okay.
looking at. We don't know.
Let's see here, I gotta get this here so I can, wait a minute, I don't wanna. Okay, we got them down. I'm gonna do.
Yeah, they were in progress when we were in progress. Mars's.
Where
Go
they,
this way,
yeah.
and this is
Norman
North
Brown.
Brown.
He married the.
Her name was Margaret, right?
I was
Wasn't
on
her
that.
name Margaret? Yeah.
Margaret, yeah.
well, this was just so
Yeah,
impressive
this
to me,
is
all these
Leroy
boys.
Myers.
Leroy?
I couldn't imagine. That's a big group.
Okay.
You got them all named,
That is a big group, though, boy. I
Oh,
tell you.
okay. Leroy Jack.
but to repeat again, these two fellows, one of them was a frock,
This is
Right.
Burnell
and he
Powell.
lived from Union Bridge, and then they moved into Westminster. But they would come down about every weekend, and one would sit on one side of the piano and play.
That's Burnell.
One would be the low octave, and the other would be high octave.
Now, which one of you three was the mischievous one?
I guess I was.
You're the one that got in trouble, huh?
I think I got in more trouble than most anybody.
Okay.
There's always one.
You know, his, I
Yeah,
think
he was in a
his
scrap
son
out but in front of
gave
the
us a
schoolhouse.
Pleasant Valley
I
High
guess that's
School
what
ring.
when you were
Did you know
talking
there was a
about
Pleasant Valley High School
the
ring?
fellow that you
And we have it in the
You
museum.
name it, I did it.
Right.
I say, I got run over by
He-
a spring wagon right up back to school.
the other fellow was standing
Didn't-
up
That didn't
over,
stop.
I think I can see that goes there. Okay.
and he was on his back.
This shows because I'm having trouble. But
That's
That's okay.
Dave.
my front wheel run over, that was about 4 years ago,
Herb Petrie
run over
family.
my,
And,
leg.
his,
and
I guess
had
it's
to
his
take-
nephew.
I had to
He-
stay in the
he worked out
hospital
at,
for,
his
24
last
hours,
year, I think
24
he worked
days.
at the,
Wow.
The church. or
yeah, I
whatever.
guess
Oh,
I
the
was
Meadow
because
Branch,
I,
Meadow Branch.
Meadow Branch,
Mhm.
custodian.
I'll
Yeah, they still all
admit,
go there.
Yeah.
Bill and I used to get at it,
Let's
eyeballs
see.
and I, of course, it was two different, they were
Sure.
different.
And I think that's eyeballs, I think it's
and,
Howard.
Oh, you think that's Howard?
Yeah,
I think that's Howard.
who else
Okay.
was, but we used to have quite a time.
I may be wrong on some of this.
Well, he had a lot of fun.
When you
Eyeballs was, he
cross-reference
was
it.
a fun
Right,
guy.
right.
He-
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if there's
He
gonna
was,
be
he
anybody
was-
else to tell me
He
this.
was always joking around and,
And I remember your father, and I don't think we got into any scraps. If we did, it wasn't much. to
probably
it,
not.
Because I wasn't around
Yeah,
here
that-
then, mostly.
Well, see, he was the baby of the family. He was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
youngest. He
Yeah,
was-
I
he
left
was the
here
latest
in
one. He was the baby.
39.
This
Petrie.
person.
Here is Herb.
Yeah, my dad was the
Right
baby
there.
of the,
Yeah,
the
Herb
brothers.
Petrie, he's the one that had the farm.
But,
Yeah.
there on the road.
when Harv had the buses,
Coffee
my
girl.
father used to drive some and we used to take the
Anna?
boxing team up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Madison
Coffee.
Square Gardens
She's
in
still
New York.
living.
They used
I
to
think she still
box.
lives
Yeah, she
there.
is. She's still actually,
And then
her
I
grandson
remember a
and his
couple
wife
years
live
we
in the
went up to
farmhouse and she
Ellis
lives next
Island.
door.
They
They
built a
called,
house
they
across the
called
road,
them
didn't
displaced
they?
persons. We
And,
brought them down here to work
Her
on the
grandson
farms
and his
and
wife
to
are
stay
very
with
active
the
in
center
the
in New
museum.
Windsor.
Is that
He,
right?
used to
actually,
get
he's
there,
our
and then,
curator.
Is that
That's
Harv
right.
used to take the black people from
He's very
Westminster over
knowledgeable.
to hear Oral Roberts in Washington D.C.
Well, he had the bus
Yeah,
and took the
I
ladies
think this
from
is
Pleasant
Stuart
Valley.
Smith.
Must have been a busload worked at the factory.
yeah.
Was
My
his,
father drove that
brother
too. To
or
the
sister?
store.
In the corner right across
Yeah.
from where they tore the building
Yeah.
down, right across from where the bank is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they didn't have any way to go to work, and then when they came home in the evening when we were canning, all them women would go down and skin tomatoes at the canning
This
factory
is
at night
Kermit
shift.
Weiss Hart.
Okay.
Yeah, in those days people worked.
Recognize here.
Yeah,
You,
oh,
you,
yeah.
you really
He
worked
lived up
back
there
then.
only,
You really did.
by the Claude Myers house.
Right
You
next
know,
door
where
to, yeah.
Paul Smith, Paul bought later.
That's where Aunt Mary
So where was
Narassox
your
grew
home
up.
place?
She was-
Which farm
It's
did you
Mary
live
and
on?
Elva Myers.
We,
Yeah, yeah.
did you
That
know
was my
where
husband's aunt.
Dennis was talking
Denton.
about the Ed Yingling
Bowers
farm?
House.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that
Go
your
up that
father's-
in
I
the
mean, your
first lane to the
husband's
right.
father?
It was
you
his
went back.
grandfather.
Okay.
Oh, his grandfather.
Or if you went up through Pleasant Valley to
Let's see.
the garage
Right.
That's Martin Helwig.
where the dam is,
Right.
turn left and
His
go up,
father
and it
was
was
the one
his
that ran the store.
second,
So the farm
No,
Dave
that
Yingling
was
was
the
on?
store down the
Pardon?
street.
Is this the
Store,
farm
the
Dave
brick
Yingling
store,
was
brick
on
house.
then?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave J,
Martin
there
Yeah.
Helwig.
a Dave J and a Dave, what was the other guy's name?
what?
His middle initial. It was David, we used to call him that way, David J and David, whatever his middle initial was,
We've
just a
got
little
everybody
like,
here. We don't,
I
yeah,
said
we
I
just-
have
we just
this
got
fella
him,
up
so we
there,
got
it's
everybody
a
on this
C.
front row
Right.
except maybe.
I don't know
we're
who
both
this
C's.
sissy looking fellow
Oh,
is.
yes?
He's got another name, they'd have to do it here on account of when I
That's
come in
George
here,
Myers,
which is
George
about
Yingling.
4 years ago.
George Yingling, he is
Why, I
the
didn't
one
know what they
that
were gonna
lost
do
his
to him.
arm.
Oh.
Now they call, if you see another Yingling in there that you don't know,
Yingling
that's
Myers
him.
and Son.
I wanna make a note
And
of
then they were in the,
See, and he
he was
he
one of the
originated
Yingling brothers
between
that owned
Union
the,
Bridge
Tire?
Butcher house.
and,
Oh.
Union Bridge.
let's see,
Oh,
where
oh.
was the other
Let me
place?
see, Butcher.
Up
The
this
store,
way.
They had a store. They worked for Willis
And,
Myers and they went up there.
Then he moved to Westminster. Now he's
So
up
he
here
lost his
and
arm.
he's in the other, not this
At
side,
William F. Myers.
he's over
Willis
the other
Myers,
side.
yeah. They said it ended up.
Well, we appreciate you fellows giving us some time.
Oh, gross.
We just like to, we'll have you on film and,
Let's see
and
here.
you know, it's nice to have because we're putting these together in a
So
group.
We got everybody here in this
We're
room.
gonna do, their
Except-
daughter tomorrow, Caroline Morgan's coming down from Lancaster
Oh, this
tomorrow.
little
We're gonna
sissy
do
boy.
one with her.
Carol
him.
Morgan, what
Yeah.
was her last
And
name?
we got this
Original.
one
Baker.
and this, see, we don't have this
She
one.
was Caroline
I
Baker.
don't know.
But this is Paul and Jane's
No,
daughter.
that's okay, but
I might
Now,
have
do we
been
know-
thinking
now this
about
looks like an
Carolyn
older girl.
Black.
You
This
probably
has been
were.
the
You
teacher.
probably
Remember
were.
think
Carolyn
that's a
Black,
teacher.
your neighbor, I guess,
Yeah.
was one.
That's
I
exactly
don't know.
right.
Okay.
I think it's
Yeah,
Miss
that's-
Bellmeyer.
Bill Meyer,
I think it's
But,
this Billmeyer, yeah.
And then, I don't know if you all remember Lillian Wareheim, David
Bill
and Lillian
Meyer,
Wareheim
I
or
don't know
not.
how to spell that.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember.
We're gonna do Lillian
Wow.
maybe next week or the following week.
Yeah.
And we did one with my mom prior to my mom dying. We got one for my mother. But it's nice to have them in your
Oh,
own
this is
voice.
Edna
It's
Wells.
nice to just
Oh my
have
gosh.
these and
She was
record
Edna
them.
Linton, wasn't she?
And we're gonna put them together in a
She
little
married
format
Linton?
that people can watch, just
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
watched
Yes,
that movie.
yeah. And this is, I think this is my sister Mary.
Now this one you don't have it, but that's Roy Studi.
Oh, well, now we need to know that.
I don't think you have any there. Roy Studi.
Okay.
This is,
He's
Street
got
Girl.
two brothers on there, Roy and Vernon, right?
And that was her maiden name, right, not her.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that a while ago, and I said, I looked around, I didn't see it.
See, I can't think of
Anywhere.
that street ex.
Well, they live back on,
Well, I thought it was a pretty neat picture.
back
I don't,
off of,
it's hard for me to believe they could
Sunrise.
take that way back then, because that's a pretty neat picture for as old as it
I
is.
think I.
They used a special camera with a timer on the tripod,
Is that
Well,
what-
what,
and it would
what we
move.
did, what the fellow did there, he set the camera up, we all lined up,
I'm surprised you can tell
We
this.
stood
This is
still,
good a
and
copy.
it went this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And sometimes a kid would be on the one
How
side,
about this
and he'd
guy?
run around behind the photographer,
That's
and he'd
Gladys
get over on the
Yeah.
other end, and he'd be in the picture twice.
Yeah,
He was from Hanover, you know, you probably know.
Yeah, it's the
what
name's
station,
on here.
but,
The name's on
Business
here.
was up there.
It says Huffman.
Things they
Yeah.
were doing.
It was done by Huffman's in
okay.
Hanover,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
It's-
that's right.
Yeah,
It's
right,
on
they
here,
were
it's
little
still on
Down
the
from
picture.
the church.
Right. That little building's still standing.
It was Huffman's Studio,
Gladys
it
Myers,
says.
and she married,
He's
who did
got
you
his
say
name
she
down
married?
I can't remember
Somebody
first
from
name.
Hampstead. Oh,
I
did,
think it was
Upton
Leister.
Myers.
Oh, okay.
And
His name was Leister. I think he was a brother to Mrs. Leister.
But this is an old picture, it's still in good
Oh,
shape.
okay.
Mhm.
She worked out.
It's still in good shape.
yeah, okay.
That's the same picture I think I have on my wall.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
They probably made a lot of these and
If
people
it is,
bought it,
it's,
people
uh,
bought
I
it.
think I have a picture
Oh,
of it.
that's,
Cause I have one like this from my high school class, they
Elva
used to
Myers.
do that even when I graduated.
I got a
Same way they
couple.
put us
now I guess
down
Mary
on the
Myers.
football field, the same way
Mary
we're supposed
Myers.
to stand
She in
still and.
Yeah.
Mary Myers.
And a lot of us
Elvis'
bought
sister?
one, our parents would buy one,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, cause we
She
were in the
was older.
picture.
Oh, she was older, so she
Yeah.
wouldn't have, she'd already.
That was
been
high
gone.
tech.
This
then.
is Patricia
Oh
Kane,
my gosh.
K-A-N-E,
Yeah, I
Patricia
know, yeah.
Kane. They lived in that little
So what did you
house
play?
I know,
Did you
I
play a
remember
drum
that.
or-
across from
Trumpet,
Trumpet.
your farm.
cornet, I
I
guess you'd say.
played the clarinet.
I think
Which
they live
would
in
be
Mr.
up here.
Well, she's been gone for quite a
Oh,
while.
There,
And,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had two sons,
Well,
and I'm
almost
not
pick
sure
it
where they
up.
are right now,
Mhm.
cause I
And
want
no
to get
trouble,
some information
Dennis.
from them.
This is, I think this is
Big
her brother
drummer.
Dave.
Right there?
I think
Well, when you all went to compete, did you ever win any of the
Wait, let me
competitions?
get
Come
right
in
there.
third or second or first? When you were playing against other bands?
When you went down
You
for the
probably
parade.
had
I think we did different times, and
School
I
pictures
think we
where you
played more than Dennis
Maybe,
had said.
yeah,
I-
Cross-check.
Didn't we
Well,
play
it's
close to
alright.
10?
Oh, which,
Places
I'll show
times
them
up
to you in a
there.
minute.
I know it, we did. Don't you remember time Kermit? You remember Kermit Weisshorn?
Sure, absolutely.
When we come home and stopped at that place and got some beer and
See, this one we said was.
I could see Kermit getting some beer.
you can see Kermit, can't you?
These two
Absolutely.
little guys we can't.
He was a good drum
No,
major.
I can't.
Was it?
I did
Which is
this.
all right.
Yeah, he was a good guy, man.
He was
These other
active.
girls are a little.
Well, he was sort of a worry type guy anyhow.
Yeah.
He was. He was, I'll never
This sort of
forget,
looks
in his
like,
later years, he built some
Stair,
furniture. And he was building a piece of furniture
Yeah, one
for
was,
my mom and
yeah,
dad.
like,
And
Nadine.
it was
well,
supposed to be
she's
done for
younger, but
Christmas,
her
and
older sister
my
might have
father
been
went up
from-
to see him about 2 days before Christmas.
Well, I
He was
Mary
drunk as
Walter
a
Lee.
skunk, and
I'm
my
not
father
sure, but I
said,
think that's
"You
the
better
guy.
sober up and finish
Right
this
here,
by tomorrow
I
I
night."
think that's the guy.
You know,
Yeah, we might-
You know,
we might-
he was related
Leister.
to
Yeah.
us, Nussbaum.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nussbaum, some of his people, what the hell was that, it was
I don't
Nussbaum.
know, I sort of run out of.
Oh, I was gonna say, you've done well.
And I
See,
would
when I
wanna
look at that
show
person,
those
she sort of
pictures.
looks Margaret Klingen Yingling.
I was trying
Remember
to
Margie Yingling? When I look at her,
She's not,
Think-
she'd have been too young or too old.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
Right,
made
she'd have been
us,
too young for that.
of course, you think these things,
Sort of looks like her daughter Carroll.
related to the Leisters, way back,
Right.
way back.
Well, I don't. think
Could have
I can
been,
be any further.
you know,
This
being in
is
a
great.
small place
I
like,
understand.
like that, yeah.
I understand.
I'll have to look closer to Fred Myers, because I usually can pick him out of any picture. I look at it, I'll say, that's Fred Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee, you can pick him
And
out
this-
on here, I guarantee you, he
This, I
looked the
think,
same.
is Morton Myers.
Let me look here. Yeah, I
Morton
got
Myers,
it. Okay.
the one that said, he's the one
One
that
had the garage.
ran the repair shop.
They're doing a
Come
lot
in
of
the
writing,
garage.
I don't know what they're.
Martin Myers.
He's identifying them people on that picture.
Yeah, you find a lot of people on there that
I
they
believe that's all I can do.
Well, that's a lot. Let me
Help at the
see,
moment.
now this is, I think that is Amy Myers right there. It looks like Amy, but I don't know what year, we don't know what year these pictures are. We just know they're Pleasant Valley School. And this is like where the entrance to the school was, and they're on the steps. And then this is along the side of the school. See, this is older than
Yeah,
this picture. Yeah, because they're dressed differently.
yeah, that's before my time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a real, but this I think's pretty sure that that's Amy
I think that
Myers.
is Amy,
Yeah, doesn't
yeah.
that look like her?
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
That's like Margaret Starner.
maybe
You
Dave's
recognize her
on
in every picture.
there.
Like the
He's
B-mill.
a little dejected, isn't he?
Yeah, he is a little dejected. Let's see what else I have in here. And see, then this is a picture of the church, but let's see if I.
We gotta let Alfred go, he can't.
I
be
know,
late
he's
for
gotta
you.
go. Did he tell us
Oh,
some
what
more?
time, I thought I'd run overtime.
No, not yet, you
What
got about
time
another
is
5
it?
minutes to go.
Myers is that- This is when we
You
got
better
our-
soon go, or your
Myers.
wife is gonna be after you.
Yeah,
I got- there's one
okay.
other school.
Well,
This is the one
can,
that
before
Myers-
y'all go, can everybody just say their name and what they did most of their lives and
Oh,
when they
yeah, okay.
retired?
I'll
I
start
didn't pay, I didn't pay that much attention to when we were doing all this,
He said before you go, can you just look there and give us your name and so on?
Yeah, what you did most of your life besides being from Pleasant Valley and then you retired and moved here, but
Yeah,
just for the record. For
yeah,
the
I'll do that
historic record.
anytime until we get out.
All right, yeah, let's do it now
It's
then.
all ready?
Yeah, you're all ready to go.
Yeah, we've been recording the whole
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I'll be telling you.
I worked for the government, the Department of the Navy, and I was involved in the satellite business. And let's see, what else can I tell you? I retired at 35 years, and I've been on
That's
That's
Grandpa, that's
the
Levi.
road, you might say, about 60 years.
My aunt
Used to
Norma
have a travel
Angel's
trailer,
father or grandfather,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure which.
yeah,
and that's about it, I
yeah.
guess.
Lee Myers, yeah.
Great.
Well,
Okay.
if you got everything else, you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, we edit this all out. I mean, we edit it to make it nice. It'll be nice when you
Well, I
see it
don't-
finished.
Well, actually, there's not a whole,
More
there's
the
nothing there
better.
that's not nice.
You
It's-
gotta edit it.
That
More
word
the better,
edit,
I
it
know you
doesn't
cut
sound
out-
good.
You cut out anything that's not supposed to be in there, I
Yeah.
know that.
If you told us any trade secrets or
We
anything.
we edit that out.
So I'm gonna go then.
All right,
sir.
well, thank you.
Sure, thank
Appreciate you so much.
Sure,
Nice
thank
seeing you again.
Yeah, I remember seeing you around.
Yeah, well, I think we talked at the firehouse, like maybe after Preston Yingling's funeral, we talked a lot about Pleasant Valley.
You know, I must not have been Preston's, cause I
Oh,
don't
maybe it's
think I was
Margie's.
here for Preston's.
Oh, okay, well, it was one of, I know it was
Yeah,
a
one of
luncheon,
them
yeah,
probably.
right.
One of them.
And
Thank you
we-
very much.
We sat there and
Yeah,
talked a
appreciate it.
lot,
Yeah.
but I didn't have a tape
See.
recorder, so.
Well, yeah, I think when Preston died, I
Still,
wasn't around here. See, I lived in
Maybe it's
Florida
Florida
for
then.
25 years. And I don't
You
know
better
where
go
I
this
was
way,
a lot of times. Okay, thank you.
Go this way.
Yep, sir.
I'm glad you said something. Yeah, I just had well, I guess it develops into something like this, and Lauren had
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a little bit weak.
Oh, okay, then,
We need to help you?
probably right
When I
then.
first get up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank
Yeah, I
you.
have the same problem. If you can just stick to the table, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'll be all right.
Did you have a coat? Oh,
Yeah.
Is he in this building?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
take
you.
care.
I'll see you.
Okay, take care.
Fall on your toes.
Watch that doctor.
Right.
Now, if the other two gentlemen can do the same thing,
Just give your name and like, you could even give us your date of birth and what you did.
Your real name?
Your
Yeah,
real
your
name,
real
that's
name.
what we want, your real name.
Oh, you got the thing running.
Oh, yes, sir,
Right,
it's
that's
running.
right.
yeah, that's right.
Are you going, Lauren?
I guess.
Sure,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Tell
Go
him.
ahead, you can go first.
Lauren Yingling, date of birth is 12/30/18. I was in an insurance agency for a year, 40 weeks. Now I'm retired. Try to keep myself busy.
That was around 40.
Great.
Thank you.
And that would be 1918,
1918.
yes.
We were married with several of the fellows from the Valley Band
And, yeah,
joined the
Mhm.
Westminster Band.
and they still come and play, at our memorial service in
Memorial,
May. I just talked to the guy on Sundays, they're gonna be there May 24th.
Yeah, that music you heard in the video was
William
that
F.
band
Morris.
playing, yeah, at the end. That was them playing, last spring.
Now, you gotta give us your name and date of birth.
Oh, you ready for me?
Yeah, I'll
Your,
get
your
it
real
ready.
name.
My real name, okay. My name is Dennis Yingling. Attended the high school at the Valley. I was graduated in 1931. I entered Western Maryland College, and I was graduated from Western Maryland in 1935. I worked at home and at a Hone butcher shop over that winter, and I went to Baltimore and went to work with Commercial Credit in May of 36. I worked in Baltimore for about 2 years, and then I was sent to Raleigh, North Carolina. I worked out of Raleigh throughout the southeastern part of the state as an adjuster for Commercial Credit. And then I was sent to Birmingham, Alabama, where I worked as a unit manager for Commercial Credit for about 6-8 months. And then I was sent to Pensacola, where I took over the EPP office, which was a service that Commercial Credit offered to the electric power companies that sold white goods, white kitchen goods. Then I entered the Army in, let's see, it was in 1941. I reported to Fort Benning, the 2nd Armored Division, the 2nd Armored Division, and then attended the Officers Candidate School and was cadreed to the 751st Tank Battalion, Medium Tank Battalion, which I was an officer in that battalion throughout the war, throughout my service. We left, the battalion left for England in August of 42. We spent our time at Tidworth in England, which was the English artillery school. And incidentally, while I was there, the 29th Division was came overseas, and they were moved into that particular area. At that time, we were moved from Tidworth to Parham Downs. This is getting to be a little bit long.
That's
That's
okay.
okay. Keep
To
on going.
Parham Downs, and again, incidentally, was walking through campus one day, and I noticed this fellow I knew or recognized, and it was Loring. Loring was in the 110th Field Artillery, and they were stationed at the airfield just beyond Parham Downs. And so he said, I'm looking for a dentist. Do you know a dentist? I said, yeah, we have one in the battalion. He said, well, I got a chip in my tooth and I'd like to have it repaired. I said, well, you just go over see him, he'll take care of it. He had field equipment, the dental equipment that you would pump
Oh.
with your foot while you were drilling the tooth.
Oh.
But anyhow, he must have done a real good job, because Loring says it's still, that filling is still
Still there.
there.
Wow. Wow.
So then in January of 43, battalion was sent to North Africa, and we landed in North Africa, and then went into action at right after the Casimir, what was it, the pass? You know, you edit this, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The Kasserine Pass,
Mm.
and that's where the 1st Armored Division was chewed up. So we were attached to the 34th Division, and part of the elements were attached to the 9th Division, and we went on to Tunisia. And so then, later that year in September, we prepared for an amphibious landing at Salerno in North Africa, in Italy. So we made that landing, and then later on that year, we prepared for a landing at, what was it, you know, we were held up for about a year, and everybody thought that the thing was gonna blow up. Okay.
Well, thanks for identifying these
You're
people
welcome.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Pretty
Is
neat.
there anything else, any further questions? Am I dismissed?
Yeah.
Yes, you're dismissed if you
Yeah.
wanna go, sure, we're done.
Yeah. we've
We're
got-
done.
Yeah, delighted. Yeah, this will all become part of the museum's archive.
As
So
well.
that 30, 40 years from now, people will be able to go through there and pick things out about what it was like in Carroll County in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And they'll be listening to you fellas and saying, wow,
Mhm.
they actually met in, what was it, in Africa or was it in Italy where you two, oh, it was in England where you two guys found each other.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so now that's an interesting story.
Mhm.
It is.
Wow.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah,
Dad and his brother.
plus all the other things you talked about, so, yeah,
That's it?
that's it.
Okay,
He
that's
traveled
it.
some. He knew
Well,
where it
thank you,
was.
nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
Yes, been a long
Nice,
time.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice meeting you.
Good to meet you.
Here, take
Yeah,
this,
okay.
take this ball.
Yeah, okay,
You get a chance, come out and visit us,
yeah, okay.
okay? Yeah. I think you'll find it interesting.
Thank you, I'll see you.
Okay.
Well, thank you for everything.
Lauren, thank you so much, we appreciate it, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you, Lori. Yeah, good to